Hello, today I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about subnotes. So subnotes are in every progress note, gives you the opportunity to add a little bit more information about the patient, put a little bit of different forms in, those sort of things. So if you'll see, I have a test patient pulled up here. I am in a therapy initial on a mental health template type. And one of the things that happens is when you get to the subnote section, particularly on an initial patient, it's a good idea to bring in the information they would have filled out, things like a PHQ-9, a GAD-7. So I want to show you how to do that. So if you right click, so I'm in the white space here, I'm pressing the right mouse button and it brings up this little page. This is also where you can put addendums if you need to make corrections to a note that you signed. But I want to go down today and talk about this mental health tab. Mental health tab is where a lot of these inventories are going to be located. Now, if a patient has not filled out some of these forms, you can also put these forms in the chart and fill them out in session. But particularly for an initial assessment, it's a good idea to be able to just go ahead and include the whole form in the initial assessment. That way, when it gets referenced back later on, you can kind of get a starting point and see where the patient was on these forms. And if you administer them in future sessions, you can see what type of progress is being made. So to add them, I'm going to simply hover over this and click the left mouse button to be able to make that. So you can see this particular patient hasn't filled one of these out. So this would be one of the things I would go through in session. I would be able to work through the patient, try to think through what some of their answers would be. I would ask them these questions in session. And then once you get to the bottom of this, you can click this little sigma, which will calculate the field, and it'll tell you what their PHQ-9 score is. You can also do any of these assessments with the patient in session. So if I wanted to do a GAD-7 with the patient, no problem. I can do the same thing like I just did, even going so far as doing the WHO disability assessment. So this would be a proxy admin that I would put in here if I were going to do this for this patient. And I can put all of this information. It just takes a while, but I can add this information in by talking it over with the patient. There's a ton of inventories that are listed here in the subnotes. Particularly things related to PTSD checklists. They've just become a really good opportunity with which to be able to add a little bit more data to the patient's note to be able to kind of paint the full picture of what's happening, as well as give you and other clinicians that are going to be working with this patient a little bit better picture of what's going on. All right, hope this helps.